What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Pens and Tea. My name is Carrie, and today I am flippin' freezing. It's getting cold here in the GTA, I guess, of Ontario, Canada, and I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I'm one of those people that doesn't like the 30-degree weather, 30 degrees Celsius, by the way. But I also am chronically cold, so fun times. So I've been thinking a lot lately about, comfort, fall things, cozy vibes, like ramen noodle soups, pho, like blankets, good books. Actually, one of my favorite books that I discovered last year, like everybody else, that's like comfort cozy, is Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldree. This is a side tangent. We'll get to the pen and ink in a moment. But this is probably one of my favorite books I've ever read, that isn't necessarily like action-packed, but is just so comforting to read. It's like a warm blanket, a hot cup of tea worth of a book. This is, of course, a special edition from the Broken Binding. So it's like a little fancier version, but you can basically get them anywhere. It's called A Novel of High Fantasy and Low Stakes. It's just super, super peaceful. Basically, an orc is done being, a mercenary, basically, and goes to settle down in a town to run a coffee shop, and then things happen. And it's just so lovely. I like it a lot. And the fountain pen equivalent of that, if you can call it that, is basically a pairing that I go to when I want a warm hug. The past few months have been interesting over here in Pens and Tea Land, so the idea of warm and comforting and cozy is definitely something that I need and want. So I decided to ink up basically my comfort blanket of a fountain pen and ink. And if you've been watching my videos for a while, especially in the beginning of the year, like January, February, March 2023, you will know that I have had this pen inked up for many months in the beginning of the year. And I'm back to it because it's fabulous. And without further ado, you've made it almost 3 minutes into this video of me and not even showing it to you yet, but it is the Benu Briolette fountain pen in amber with diamine ancient copper. Why are these two so amazing? Parker's scratching her tree beside me, so if you hear that, so be it. She's also my comfort cozy 13-pound warm blanket. Why do I love this so much? By the way, I do have a full review on this if you want to check that out. But why do I love it so much? Well, one, I absolutely adore the way that this sits in my hand. Wow, I'm using a different mode on the phone and it does not like close-up. So I'm going to do those separately. It just fits so nicely in my hand, like it's almost my entire grip. I like the fact that it's an untraditional shape and that when it's capped, everything is together. The colors alone are just so stunning. It's very warm, very milky, reminds me of a cup of tea or a cup of coffee, of course with glitter, because why not? But I just adore the actual color. And then when you uncap it, comically enough, the nib is very small. It's a number 5 size nib, I think, but it looks like it's like a number 2. And then comes with a pretty large standard international converter, which is nice. You can eyedropper convert it, but I wouldn't, just because I wouldn't want to like get the inside barrel stained, potentially, because it is glow in the dark and I don't want to ruin the finish. Fits really well in my hand. Writes really, really well, which you'll see in a minute when I do the writing sample. You can't post this pen, it just doesn't work. So if you do have like really, really big hands, you may not want to do something like this. But if you do like Benu pens, which I highly recommend, do check out their Euphoria model, which I also have. Let me just grab one out for you. This is their bourbon finish, and this is called amber. So they're much bigger. So if you do have larger hands, but you want a similar enough vibe, just go with the Euphoria model. You've got a much larger nib, and it also fits better in larger hands. But they're very light pens. They are pretty close in weight, even though like this one's much bigger because they're like super light. So if you've got bigger hands, you might want to do something like that. But I adore this briolette so much. So let me flip the camera around and show you some closer details. It is just beautiful in my opinion. I'll put that in there too for funsies. I just love it so much. Why is this not focusing? It's having a heck of a time, guys. Also, my desk looks filthy. I don't know how to get these spots off. I don't even know what it is. It's just years and years old of stuff. I should probably just get some new desk faux leather. Mats. Anyways, I digress. These ends here are glow in the dark. I don't know if I'll be able to show you. Let me turn off my light. No, I won't be able to get it dark enough for you, but they do. Just, trust me on that. There we go. It's relatively unbranded for it being a Benu pen. Just really has the Benu logo here. That said, the pens are quite flashy. So basically just by them being them, they stand out. And I love like the darker amber tones and then kind of like peters out and lightens. It is just simply stunning in my opinion. I really like the feel of the material. I like that there's different facets all over it. Like I said, I've done a further in-depth review. The two things that really are the only things that sort of bug me a little bit about this, if I can focus the camera, it's jumping all over the place here. Quality, is that it has what all fountain pens seem to have these days, is this little step here between the grip section and like where the inner collar of the feed stands. That does collect ink when you fill it up. So it does take a little extra second of care when you're wiping things down, which isn't a huge big deal in the grand scheme of things. It's just a little annoyance, and then the nib itself does seem a little bit comically short, small, compared to the rest of the pen if I don't drop it, especially when you have it next to its mate here of the Benu Euphoria. Definitely a big difference. But that said, despite its size difference, it still writes absolutely amazing, especially when it's inked up with Diamine Ancient Copper, which is one of my favorite inks. And I had this inked up, oh my gosh, like for 3-4 months at a time, and never once did this ink give any crusties, any barnacles, anything in this nib, which I have had many times in other pens. So even though there's no inner seal on the cap here, obviously it doesn't matter because it just works super well. Wow, I even had this uncapped for quite a while and it still writes no problem. Let me see if I can try and focus the camera. Come on. That's better. So let's do the standard. Sorry for the sniff. One thing I would suggest everybody try, just for funsies, is try writing when you're staring through a camera. It just turns your writing into garbage. It's very smooth. It's nice and wet. It's a good fine line. It's a crisp fine line, which is nice because sometimes when you get fines, they still seem like broad nibs, but obviously like a finer nib, but like just, I don't know. It's hard to describe it. Very smooth. writes well upside down even. You can squeak out the tiniest bit of line variation if you want to, but I mean, I wouldn't. This is one of the best writing pens that I have. To be fair, all of my Benus are. I've never once had a problem with any of them. Never had to get any of them tuned. Never had to try anything with any of these pens. They just work. They just work, which is really all you can ever ask for with a fountain pen at the end of the day. So this is my comfort cozy blanket, and I 10 out of 10 recommend it. This is what I go to when I need a warm hug and just to feel better. Whether I'm sick, whether I'm healthy, whether I'm just, in a blue mood, whether I'm happy, it does not matter. I am always comforted and pleased by this pairing. But I'm curious, what, if any, comfort, cozy pen and ink pairings do you use when you just need a warm hug? Let me know in the comment section down below because I'm very, very curious. Let me know if you've used either of these options yourself, the ink or the pen, what you thought of them in those comments down below. And while you're there, you might as well hit the like and subscribe because new videos come out every Monday and Friday that are pen related, and Tuesdays are going to turn into my random days where I talk about anything else I like. While you're down there as well, if you want to check out the description, you will find the link to my Patreon account if you want to help support me in what I do here. But regardless, just you watching this video, especially if you've made it this far, thank you very much. You are the reason I make these videos. And as always, I'll see you next time. Bye.